Hey guys, I am back for my next set of motivational altered playing cards. This is possibly my last one. The group that I'm in may possibly be closing, but we'll see what happens. Right now I'm really enjoying this. I may make more of these later because I really do love this small canvas ATC, or I may start actually working on actual ATCs and not just altered playing cards. So I have a list of the things that my partner likes, and it includes blues, teals, turquoise, reds, grays, yellows, lime, grunge, steampunk, dragonflies, sewing, cats, cooking and chefs, and nature. Now, some of those things I can't touch on. I'm not real sure what to do with cooking and chef, and I don't seem to have any dragonfly things around, so I don't know. I'm gonna just kind of use that as a I don't know, just a general, hey, that's what she likes, but we'll see how it comes together because I can't stray too far from what I like too. So I'm going to start with the fact that she likes blues and teals and turquoises and kind of just go from there. We'll see how this develops. I'm not real sure. So I'm going to start pulling some stuff out and I'll be right back.
Hey guys, here I am with trying to do the voiceover thing again. I'm going to try to be a little bit louder, but we'll see how it goes. So I've got my card and a couple different colors of blue craft paint, and I'm just smearing that on with my finger because they're handy. Get it? Handy? Huh? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. So I'm trying to use as little paint as possible because I tend to go a bit overboard with it. So I'm just putting little dabs down and smearing that out as thin as I can get it on the cards and get kind of a marbly effect that I really like. And then I'm going to dry it real quick before I go on to my next step, which is going to be using this Bow Bunny clear acrylic stamp. It's like a crackle pattern. And then some Adirondack ink that I think it's in Stream or something along those lines. But it's a shade of blue, which gives just a little depth to the crackle without making it stand out. Of course, I'm going to cover it up with some other layers here in a minute, but it's nice to have that under there. I like it. So after I clean all that up, I'm going to put a little bit of white paint down and use some caps. This first one is I think a glue stick cap, and this next one, I was thinking it's some other glue cap, but I think it's actually something from the kitchen. So, but those work perfect to get couple little circles on there, and I blot it with a paper towel because for some reason it always gunks. The paint always gunks up on me like that. So with Tim Holtz stamp, I think that one, stencil, sorry, I think that's dot fade and some gray acrylic paint. I'm just going to use a cosmetic sponge and stencil onto my card. And the dot fade is nice because it just gives a little bit of something. I'm not even, I don't know, it's very computer looking almost. And I clean it up with a wet wipe because, I don't know, I obsessive about it and sometimes. And then I clean both of the caps too that I use to make the circles. So that gets all done, and I take some stays on and a hand carved heart stamp to just add a single heart on there before I stamp off everywhere else. With that done, I use black soot distress ink and my cosmetic sponge to go around the outside, just add a little bit more darkness to the card since that heart was very, I don't know, blatant. It's just, so with that around the edge, it takes away from it just a smidge. And then I've got some tiny words and phrases stickers that I'm going to use on this card, and so I'm just sticking that down, and then I'm going to take my Stabilo all pencil in black to go around the outside of those stickers. And I love the Stabilo because once I take a water brush to it, that stuff just melts and, I don't know, gives everything such depth. And I don't even know how that works, but it just, one little line of that all pencil just melts. It's fabulous. So after I get that all on there, I take a Signo pen, the one with the Chinese writing on it in white, and go around the inside line of the heart to just kind of bring it all together and get some of the white in there too. And with that, that card is done. I'm going to give you a couple looks at it so you can see the details a little bit better. But that card was quick and easy, and I really just love how it came together. I hope you do too. And with that, here we go with card number 2. Hooray! So this one, I start again with a gessoed blank card, and I've got a piece of dictionary text that I had brayered off and cleaned my stencils on while I was jelly printing. So I'm just taking that with some gloss gel medium, and I'm going to stick that piece of paper down onto the card. Now, I love keeping little snippets of stuff like that around because it's an easy, quick texture, background to have. So, and I'm going to trim off the excess and put that aside. And you know me, I keep those little trimmings too because I'll collage with them later. So there's that all glued down, and me trying to get you to see it when when I don't even realize you can see it. It's something about the display on my camera. So I'm taking the white paint that's still off to the side and a thin paintbrush and just doing some little circles down the edge of the card. So, and again, I'm pulling out more stickers. I was trying to make these fairly quickly. So I've got this big red sticker that says, Dare to Live Your Dream. And I'm sticking that down, but for some reason it's not sticking real well on the card. So I got some Mod Podge out and put glue on the back of the sticker as well as on the card. And then take a coffee cup that's got a little weight to it and stick it on top of it and let it dry for a minute. After it was dry, I picked all my stuff up and took a Faber-Castell pen to try to outline around it, but it wasn't working. I was having real trouble with my pen, so I just started pulling out pens, trying to find something that would work to outline that sticker. So I finally found one and went around it, and I used several different sizes working up to make sure I got deep in that crevice in there. And then I took it's a permanent marker. I use it all the time. It's from the Dollar Tree, and it actually just says permanent marker on the side of it. I think it comes in a pack of 4, but I love those markers. So I did some scallops around the outside of the sticker and use that same marker to alternate coloring in the scallops. And I'll go back around and make sure I got it. And once I did that, I got out my Signo pen in white and colored in around the alternating scallops. So if the alternating pattern hadn't worked, I would have colored in all of them in black if I had like an even number or whatever and they wound up next to each other or odd, or I don't know. Anyway, so after that, I just go around with the circles I had drawn earlier with another black pen, and I take a Sharpie paint pen, the water-based one, and just doodle around, making some dots and some little lines and dashes and stuff. And then a mechanical pencil to do some more doodles around it real quick. And I think that's about it. Hold on, we'll see. Oh no, I do blacken around the edges a little bit with some black soot distress ink to accent the whole card. So with that, this card is pretty much done, and I'm going to show you some close-ups of it. There you go. All right, we're about to move on to the third one. I hope you like this. Alrighty, so with that, we're going to start card number 3. That'll be the last one on this video. And I'm just taking a bunch of pieces of different paper and tearing it up and collaging it onto the card. I think in there I've got a ledger paper that I had stenciled on and some book paper that had French words on it. And what else do I have in there? I think it's some whitewash dictionary paper and just whatever I had on hand that I'm slapping it down and covering up a bit of this card. I'm not covering up every last bit of it though. Oh, there's some graph paper in there too. Woo! So I've got just about all of that covered, and I'm just using a Yoo-hoo glue stick and a card to rub it down before I trim around the edges that dried pretty quickly, so I didn't have to wait. And while that was, excuse me, once that was ready, I took a paintbrush and just kind of went off to the paint that's sitting on the side and brushed that on there. Whatever was left, I brushed it onto the card. Some of it I just moved around because it wasn't quite what I wanted, but that way if I spread it out, it was going to dry over there. So I threw this blue and gray and white paint on there and let it dry real quick before getting out some straw colored acrylic paint and another Tim Holtz stencil. This one's the burlap. And I just stenciled that there real quick, and that yellow really added a pop of color on top of that blue. And I really like that, how much color that added. So after I clean off my stencil, because I got to, I move on to getting another Bow Bunny stamp. And this one, I can't see what it is, but it's kind of like a linen looking pattern, or I don't even know. It's just a texture stamp and some distress ink is what I used, and I think it's the walnut stain possibly. And then I got a little piece of scrapbook paper that I'm gonna use some stays on and stamp the words "creativity takes courage" onto the scrapbook paper. And you'll see in a minute I'm not really flying by the seat of my pants with this one, because I didn't make sure that that stamp fit on the card or how I was going to lay everything out, because I decided I really wanted to use this hot air balloon stamp I also had. So I cut out the words I had just stamped and started playing with it on the card to see how it'll fit and how the stamp will fit, and thinking about it and moving it around, and I just couldn't decide what I was going to do. So I delayed it by getting some spray in white. And I think that's a fabric spray. I think it's a tulip fabric spray in white. And I blotted off because I just wanted to lighten up the background a smidge. So once that's lightened up and blotted off, I dry it to make sure everything's good and dry. And play with that layout some more. Because like I said, fly by the seat of my pants. Don't know what I'm doing. So I end up deciding to put the words across the top and stamp on the hot air balloon. Well, it's on there, it's nice, but it doesn't really stand out. So from there, I was like, oh no, I've got to have something else. So I got a cheap sketch pad. It's like a newsprint from the Dollar Tree, and I spray it with some distress spray in a rusty hinge to give it just a fun little distressed coloring to it, because it's distress spray. It works. So I go back and I take the stays on again and stamp that hot air balloon on that. So it'll give it a white background, so just stand out on that card a little bit more. So once it's stamped, I cut around it a little bit, leaving just a tiny little edge around the outside of it to make sure that I can cover it up on that card. So I've got it, and from there I'm using the I think it's the gloss gel medium to glue everything down. And you'll see I'm using a lot of this gloss gel medium, but I do it on things I know I'm going to just have it behind, because I've decided I don't like the gloss. So I'm just trying to use it up as a glue because it was too expensive to just get rid of it. So once I get all of those things down, let me see, what do? I don't know. I look at the card and, I decided to do a border stamp. So this is I believe it's a Stampabilities border set. And so I've got one of those, and I'm just going around the outside, trying not to go over the strip with the words on it. And I take a little piece of paper to cover up one edge so I don't overlap my stamp too much. And then I get across the top. And let's see. I've completely lost what I did here. This was 3 months ago when I recorded this. Oh, I trace around. That's what I do. I trace around the hot air balloon with just a Pilot, what is it, a V5 retractable pen. So that makes it done. And here's some closer looks at it. So that's the first 3 of those cards, and I hope you will check out the next 3. Thanks. Bye.